Oluwaseyi for me. So go out and trust in that name and do that and leave it out. And if we all lived out our names, honestly, the country will be better. If there had been economic prosperity, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. Because the adage is, or the saying is that the devil finds work for idle hands. And so the economy of the nation is something that is very important to settling a lot of matters. Let's not even talk about the killing. Let's talk about area boys. If they were well engaged, fully engaged, why should we fear? Why should I be afraid that my car will break down on the Third Mainland Bridge? And rather than come and assist me, I will have people who will want to rob me. And that's because the economy of the country has gone down. And unfortunately, the economy of the country cannot be better until we have sorted out a major issue, component, which is power supply. Without power supply, companies will just keep on relocating out of Nigeria. The cost of doing business in Nigeria is terrible. And of course, corruption. Although I was in a gathering one day and we were talking about it, and I noticed that one of the speakers refused to use the word corruption, and he kept on using the word capacity. I said, but why are we afraid to use the word corruption? Corruption has eaten deep into the fabric of the nation. Not only our leaders, but even us at the grassroots. We all expect something for something. So I don't think it was like this before. I grew up in Nigeria that we were free to move around. The night of the 31st, people were out. Christmas Eve, we started services at 11 o'clock. You can't do that nowadays because of the fear. So I think the issue of the economic issue is very important. Those at the helm of affairs should encourage, even as our president goes about encouraging investment. When these investments are supposed to be coming in, I don't know whether it is true or not. Why are those in authority now seeking compensation for themselves? And I look at it from the point of view of Joshua when he says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. It's a misapplication of that term or that phrase by Joshua. Because some people have this idea that once they themselves and their families are okay, or everything is okay. They can't be okay because they will live in fear. If you are surrounded by poverty, then you must live in fear if you have so much wealth. And that's one of the reasons why there's kidnapping. It's a business. Kidnapping started, I believe, in the Niger Delta. And those years ago when they were kidnapping expatriates, I was saying, this thing, maybe then you will say it's prophecy. I said, this thing is just conjecture. This is going to become a problem in Nigeria. It's going to become a problem in Nigeria. And indeed, it has turned out to be a problem in Nigeria. And nobody can hide away from it because kidnapping is in Lagos. If you're living in Lekki, anywhere, you are afraid. In those days, we used to go hire bicycles, ride and be free on the streets. But you can't do that any longer. It's unfortunate. So we want to beg federal government. They are doing a lot, but if it is true that the Port Harcourt refinery is back on stream, then again, I would just look at it that what kept it off stream for so long? Was it really bad in the first place? If it's back on stream, and then the Warri refinery, then maybe the Port Harcourt refinery, then hopefully the Kaduna refinery. Let's be more self-sufficient. Let us invest in power. Perhaps, maybe a stupid, what does a preacher know about economy, the economics? But perhaps we should get all those who import diesel, all those who import generators to invest in power. Give them tax concessions. So let them divert their interests into providing this power supply in the first place. Maybe that way. We talk about the rail. The expressway is the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. I was on it a few weeks ago. It's beginning to undulate because the trailers that are plying there are too heavy for the roads, especially when you use asphalt. And the heat of the day is there. It makes it weaker. And at the moment, a trailer that has not been weighed to be able to pass on it. I remember in those days, you couldn't go on the expressway without going through a weighbridge section to see that you are not overloaded. If you are overloaded, you go back and, reload. So we get people like those who own trucks. Our good friend, the richest man in Africa, Dangote, with all humility, please, sir, can you invest in rail? Invest in rail, participate in rail venture, so that all these heavy-duty things can go by rail. And let's make the rail secure. In 1974-75, we went on holiday to Jos by rail. I don't think I can do that again. Why? This thing should have improved. So, but what do I know? I'm just a preacher. I don't know much. But this is my own perception, and I try to. You visit countries who don't worship as much as we do, but their countries work. So what is wrong with us as a nation?
Thank you very much, sir.
Be ready to play our part, because when he says he enters into a covenant relationship with Abraham, he kept on reiterating that I will do this, but you must walk with me. You must obey me. So he will do his own. We should do our own.
Anybody else again, sir?
Akinpelu Johnson, Bishop of the Diocese of Lagos, Mainland of the Anglican Communion. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone.